Look up. Something strange just happened in America. For decades, UFOs lived in the shadows of American politics, but now Washington is doing something unusual. The Pentagon has released a new batch of declassified files on what officials now call UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. The documents do not prove nor deny the existence of alien life. They do not confirm extraterrestrial technology, and they do not answer the question that has fascinated the public for generations. But they do reveal something else. A government that once avoided this subject is now choosing to put it back in the public eye, and that raises a different question. Not whether aliens are here, but why the United States wants the world looking up right now. On May 8, 2026, the Pentagon released the first batch of previously classified UFO. Trump had earlier ordered federal agencies to identify and release records related to UFOs, UAPs, alien life, and extraterrestrial matters. A BC News reported in February that Trump said he was acting because of tremendous interest in the topic. This first batch included old reports, photos, videos, NASA transcripts, FBI material, military accounts, and government documents dating back decades. Army Times reported that the files were released through a new government UFO website and involved agencies including the White House, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Energy, NASA, and the FBI. It also reported that 162 files were disclosed, with more expected later on a rolling basis. This is not some guy filming a light in the sky and saying it moved weird. It is the US government saying, here are the files, here are the reports, here are the things we collected, and here are the things we could not fully explain. And honestly, that alone is enough to make people pay attention. The files are a mix of old and modern material. Reuters reported that the batch included a 1947 report of flying discs photos of unidentified phenomena from the Apollo 12 lunar mission, and an Apollo 17 transcript describing unidentified objects seen from the moon in 1972. CBS News reported that Apollo 17 pilot Ronald Evans described seeing very bright particles or fragments drifting during the mission. CBS also reported that Buzz Aldrin described seeing a bright light source that the crew tentatively thought might be a laser. A BC News reported that many sightings in the files were clustered near active military operations. That is important because this is not just a space mystery story, it also becomes a national security story. No matter if these objects are drones, balloons, foreign technology, sensor errors, atmospheric events, classified aircraft, or something genuinely unknown, if something is appearing near military operations, the Pentagon has to care. Because it is unidentified, and unidentified is scary. This is where we need to be careful. The files do not prove aliens. They do not prove alien technology or an invasion. They do not prove that something dramatic is happening in US skies right now. The key word here is unidentified. Unidentified does not mean extraterrestrial. It means officials could not identify something based on the information they had. Sometimes that happens because the footage is poor or the object was seen for only a few seconds. Sometimes because it was a drone, a reflection, a weather event, or classified military technology. The story lives in that powerful gap, not in the proof. The moment the government says we do not fully know, the public hears we are hiding something. Now let's talk about the part of the story that might be even more important than the files: the timing. Governments do not release emotionally explosive information just for the plot. They know what captures attention, they know what dominates headlines, and they certainly know what makes people stop scrolling. And what's a better topic to grab the human brain faster than UFOs? You do not even have to prove anything, just say the key words and suddenly everyone is looking up. It almost feels like Don't Look Up in reverse. In the movie, the government tells people not to look up, even though a comet is coming from the sky. Here, Washington is suddenly telling everyone to look up, and maybe that is the point. Because sometimes the real question is not only what is above us, it is what we stop seeing when we raise our eyes. Reuters noted that the release immediately raised questions from critics about whether it could serve as a distraction from political problems. That definitely doesn't mean that there is nothing interesting inside the files, but it does mean we should be asking some simple questions like, why this? Why now? And why in this way? Because in politics, the oldest trick is not always hiding the truth. Sometimes it is releasing a different truth at exactly the right moment. For decades, UFO stories were treated like a joke, something between conspiracy theories, late-night radio, and people yelling about Area 51. But slowly, that changed. The government started using the term UAP instead of UFO. Congress started holding hearings, the Pentagon created offices to study anomalous phenomena, pilots started speaking more openly, and military reports became harder to dismiss. And now, the government is releasing files. That does not mean every wild claim is true, but it does mean the old strategy is over. The Pentagon knows that public trust is not what it used to be. People do not accept nothing to see here for an answer as easily as before, so now the government is trying a different approach. Controlled transparency. They are not releasing everything all at once, but enough to say, we are showing you something. Even the Pentagon knows it's over and that the old wall of silence is cracking. The most interesting thing about this release is that it does not give anyone full satisfaction. Believers do not get final proof. Skeptics do not get a clean dismissal. The Pentagon gets to look transparent, and the administration gets a massive attention-grabbing headline. The public gets just enough mystery to keep watching. Certainty ends the debate, but mystery controls the conversation. If the files said yes, aliens are real, that would change human history overnight. If the files said everything was fake, the story would die. But instead we get something much more useful for the media narrative, a maybe. Maybe it is foreign technology. Maybe it is classified American technology. Maybe it is natural phenomena. Maybe it is bad data. Maybe it is something we still do not understand. Maybe the next batch will reveal more, and that is how you keep everyone hooked. So no, this is not proof that aliens are landing tomorrow, but it is proof of something else. The US government has officially put UFOs back at the center of public conversation. The Pentagon has opened part of the archive. The public has been invited to look, and Washington has reminded us of one very important rule. What we are shown is never separate from when we are shown it. Because in politics, timing is the message. The files may not tell us exactly what is in the sky, but they do tell us something about power, secrecy, trust, distraction, and about how governments release just enough truth to make people ask even more questions. And until the next batch drops, America and the rest of the world is left in the perfect position for a modern political mystery, looking up, wondering what is out there, and maybe missing what is happening right in front of them. So what do you think? Is this real transparency, a controlled release, a political distraction, or the beginning of something much bigger? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns like this, where we separate the facts from the noise and the headline from the real story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the next batch of files is coming, and if there is one thing we know about Washington, it is this. The truth rarely arrives all at once. It comes in pieces, and sometimes the pieces are stranger than the story. Stay safe.